Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know how to make. Ah, I found it. That's nice. Then the screen's
Hmm.
not there.
Huh. Okay.
How's your theory working out?
Good.
Okay, well, we're live.
We are live.
All right. We're
Okay.
working with the lighting. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So,
you want to,
dime, Coke,
pardon? Coke.
dime,
You owe
Coke.
me a Coke.
Okay.
I don't drink
So
Coke.
we are talking today in our live. Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You're in a very quiet voice
Yes, I
today.
am on a quiet
Your
voice.
teacher
Okay.
voice. Where's your teacher
Okay.
voice?
So, what's the topic for today,
The
Anna?
topic for today is that nothing is personal. You want me to expand a
Go
little?
for it.
Okay,
Yes.
what we mean by nothing is personal is that when you're in a relationship, a committed partnership with another human being, it can often feel as though what they are doing, what they are saying, how they're responding to you is personal.
Right. And one of the things that we realize is that we make up stories. We make up stories about why something is happening all the time. And when it's in our relationship, it becomes very detrimental to being in connection with your partner. So you have to find a way to actually dissect this so that you can be in a real connected place.
So I think that you're saying that we make up
Mm-hmm.
stories. And what you're saying is that, like, if you're in a place where you're in a mood for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason, distracted,
Right.
waiting for something to happen, feeling overwhelmed, something's going
Right.
on for you, overtired. Overtired is common in our relationship where we're not
Sure.
aware. Um,
Or frustrated about something going on in one's life,
I'm
my
going to
life.
say you're still talking super quietly.
Okay, I'll talk louder.
Just normal.
Okay, sounds good.
Normal tone. I would say that when something like that is going on, right? When one of us is in a place and the other person might not know what's going on with them, there is a likelihood that the other person is going to start becoming reactive, as though the mood or the feeling or the tone of the other person has something to do with them. They are being offended in some way.
Right.
And that's what we kind of want to talk about today, right?
Right.
Is, well, how can it be about me? If you're overtired and you're a bit reactive to me, or you're preoccupied, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, I might take that personally. I probably would at some point take that personally.
Right. And make up a story about it
And
as
make up
to
a story that
what's
it is got something to do with me. I did something
absolutely
wrong, or you don't love me the way you used to love me, or you're
yeah,
irritated with me because I've also been short lately, or something. And then we get into a cycle where we are in a reactive cycle with one another.
absolutely. And a lot of times what can happen is that when you're in that type of cycle going back and forth and back and forth, what you end up doing is you digress. You start going off on tangents and it can get very messy very quickly.
And I often have couples come in and say, we're fighting about this thing. And as we sort of unpack it, we realize that is not at all what it is that people are fighting about. So it looks like it's about one thing. And in fact, it's about this internalized story that's transpiring that really we have to get to the root of.
Right.
Right.
So by personalizing it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're doing, is we're actually personalizing what we hear or see or feel from our partner. So the key is what do we do with that?
Right.
What do we do?
I don't know. What do you think we do, honey?
What do we do? Well, I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I think we do is, first of all, is not personalize it. Make a decision that I've got to find out more about this before I actually make up my story, or try not to make up the story.
And I would say that if you can walk through life knowing that things are not personal, right? That you haven't, that when your partner is something is going on with them, it's still to do with them.
Right.
Even in the circumstances where I have gotten under your skin, your reactivity belongs to you.
Right. That's
So
right.
if we can walk through life with that kind of awareness,
Mhm.
then we will be much better at regulating our reactivity.
Right. And then what it comes down to is not going to, which I have a very difficult time doing, not going to problem solving, because as soon as you try to problem solve, you're actually getting into, first of all, trying to tell your partner what you're seeing or what you're feeling, and really not sort of recognizing that you've got to be curious about your partner. You've got to actually ask the questions to find out really what is going on for them.
So it's interesting that you brought in problem solving. So
Right.
you're saying that even in circumstances where you might say, okay, I know this isn't about me,
Mhm.
but it's still something's going on here and I want to fix it.
Right.
There's something broken or some problem, something's happening. I don't like it and I want to fix it. You're already going to potentially escalate the disconnect.
Right. Right.
Right. And instead of that, you would replace that, or you would like to be able to replace that with curiosity.
Right.
What is happening
Absolutely.
here? So
Right.
you're information seeking rather than presuming what's
Right.
happening.
Right. Well, what ends up happening is you stay in your neofrontal cortex versus actually being able to feel and sort of, become curious about what's going on for your partner, and try to actually keep the connection with them by actually having feelings for them as to what's going on.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, right? Because there is a world in which you can have your feelings and still be in your thinking brain.
Right.
So when our feelings and our thoughts are connected, you can still be in your prefrontal cortex, but aware of the feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're referring to, it's interesting. It reminds me of work that decades ago Virginia Satir did. And there was a label of a person called the super rational person.
Mm-hmm.
So almost like super rational as a defense against
Right.
feeling. And I hear
Right.
you addressing that right
Right.
now. So
Right.
Tim, I think what you're telling me, let me see if I
Right.
got that. You go to super rational,
Mm-hmm.
then you can avoid feeling.
Right.
And
That's
this
right.
situation where if I'm being reactive or dysregulated invites you into being curious and empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Then that doesn't leave you space for that super rational problem solving part of you.
Right. Well, I think one of the issues is when one of you becomes super rational, then there isn't any type of connection because it's all about you being rational.
Right. Which is a defense.
Right.
Right.
Totally.
Right. So that becomes your defense,
Mm-hmm.
super rational defense.
Right.
Right. Whereas my defense becomes super emotionally, like hanging out in the emotional engaged space.
Right. It's almost like one of you is becoming the crown attorney or the district attorney, where you are actually trying to create a step-by-step process as to what's going on for the other person without really even, you might be asking the questions, but you've already got a narrative in your mind already as to you're trying to prove. You've got a hypothesis, and that's just not the way to go about it.
It's interesting. I can feel that we've digressed, but I really like it from nothing is personal to our reactivity conversation, which is a space we find ourselves wanting to explore a lot. And I was thinking about, as we were preparing for this talk today, this live, we were saying that I had this image of feelings entering the space, these little feelings that are actually anthropomorphized, like a little creature walking in and it's sadness, a bit like the movie Inside Out, right? And it walks in and you're looking at it saying, what is that? It's totally unfamiliar. I don't like that. It's a really unattractive little critter.
I wasn't wanting to address that because I want to address this, because this is going to lead us to resolution.
Right. Instead of hanging out with the little weird critters that walk in the room called feelings. Yeah. So curiosity is key, right? And curiosity prevents that feeling like it's personal.
Right.
Like, what is this? What's actually happening with you, honey? I want to know. I want to know. I want to be engaged with you around this. Can you tell me what's happening right now?
So tone becomes important in how you
Yeah.
ask those questions. And what it will do is it leads to that empathy. It leads to your ability to really go, oh, really? I had no idea that's what was going on for you. And, and really wanting to actually cross over into what your partner is really feeling, even if they have tried to make it about you or they are being reactive to you.
So even if in our story I've been blaming or critical, if you can move, I think what you're saying is if you can move to a curious and empathetic tone, what is going on here? This, this is what this feels like, and I'd really like to know. Then that will de-escalate it. And I think the other thing it will do in a way is that it will stop me in my tracks from trying to make what I'm feeling about you, which is why you're going to feel like it's personal in the first place. Right. If you disengage from it, I have nowhere to push it into the space.
True.
Does that make sense?
Not that I'm trying to stonewall or block you.
Right.
It's really, I'm still trying to connect with you and ask questions and be curious and, let you know that I'm here. Right. But the issue is that, I'm not.
You're not taking it on.
I'm not taking on whatever it is. I am becoming empathetic about what it is.
It's interesting, right? Because the more you take something on, the more likely I am to keep giving it to you.
Yeah.
But the more you can differentiate and say, this isn't mine, and I don't know what's happening here, but it's not mine, and I really want to know what's going on with you, the more I'm not going to be able to give it to you.
Right.
You're not a sponge, but you're not a wall.
Right.
You're an empathetic partner who cares.
Yeah. And this isn't easy stuff. It's difficult. And this is sort of what couples really want to work towards. Because when they can do that, you have this, as Anna was saying, this sense of differentiation and still having connection. Because you really see, you don't take it on, but you are still wanting to be connected, you're still reaching across for your partner, and you're trying to let them know that you are empathetic and seeing them for what's going on for them.
I was thinking about what we were talking about, I think it was last time, around compassion and context. It's good to have some keywords in our minds to help us in moments like this.
Right.
So if I say there's a context for Tim feeling whatever way it is or behaving in whatever way, and if I can approach you with compassion, so what's the context? What's the context for this experience you're having? And I want to know, I want to support, and I want to be connected. Sometimes having a kind of a ritual to go through in my mind will help me in real time.
Right. Yeah, I can actually really see how that can work for couples. I really do see how that would be the case. And again, I want to bring up that sense of you can't be using a patronizing tone.
Tone matters a lot.
Yeah, tone really does matter a lot. And, I think that's where couples have to find that, that dance in terms of their communication.
Yeah, and I think when we bring our sort of wise self, to use an IFS term, right? That wise self, that part that can see what's happening, then we're not going to move into a kind of the patronizing, like what's going on, as opposed to I'd like to know, right? There's a part of me that really wants to know what's happening with you, because I'm here, and because I love you, and because I care, and maybe in some instances I have done something, but if you can tell me about it without moving into the blame shame place, I'm going to be able to hear you so much better, right?
Right. I think the final thing I would say is that learning how to actually not create a story before you find out really what's going on for your partner is such an important skill to actually learn. And Working with your partner is, the best way to do that. And what it ends up doing is it helps us so much more in the broader world, where we make stories up about what people are thinking about us all the time in our work world, with friendships, family members, whatever. We actually make up narratives that really are many, many times, and probably a lot of people have had this experience, that they made up a narrative, they made up a story that turned out to be completely off the grid.
And when you're in a safe enough relationship, another way to approach that is to know that you probably are living in a story. You probably are making up a story. And so if you can even pause long enough to say, I can feel myself starting to make up a story here, whether you say it out loud to your partner or you notice it for yourself, so you can pause. You love that pause, and take a moment and say, okay, I need to get out of my way, get out of the way, get my story out of the way, and get curious.
Right.
Context, compassion, curiosity equals connection.
Right. So I'm not going to make up the story that you think we should be ending this tonight. But I think that I'm feeling that we really should end it.
This is a good place to pause for now.
You got it.
Can we say for now?
For now.
I'm pretty sure we're going to come back to this subject again.
Very much so.
We tend to do that at times. Okay, well, we really appreciate you joining us, and hope that you can take some little piece out of this to help you to be a little more differentiated, and remember that it isn't personal.